This little fellow is d.ASH-ER, a multitasking robot. And here's his human, Krittin, who's a robotics engineer.
We designed to have a very cute face so that it won't look very scary to children. It is equipped with a lot of sensors, and this enables this robot to see 360 degrees around itself to avoid any obstacle along the way. When I was young, I wanted to be a pilot, and I like airplane. I was very amazed that this particular machine could actually fly into the sky and then bring you from one place to another.
Born in Thailand, Krittin moved to Singapore 15 years ago. And while pursuing a mechanical engineering degree at the National University of Singapore, he developed an interest in robotics. As part of his studies,
I went to Silicon Valley, San Francisco Bay Area, to Stanford. I saw a bunch of things that I didn't know existed back then. I saw how automation or robotics could be a very integral part of our life in the future. I was given a lot of opportunities in Singapore, and I believe I'm able to give back.
Meanwhile, this Singaporean tech startup entrepreneur was facing a challenge.
I started this company pretty much serendipitously. It was a conversation I had with my current CTO, who had many ideas around what good AI can do.
The two Singaporeans wanted to build something big. Chinn wanted his company to be at the cutting edge of innovation, but he struggled to turn this vision into reality.
We are a startup, so it's actually an uphill climb trying to attract talents. The talent space for AI and robotics is rather scarce in Singapore. We are also up against very established companies or companies that have very deep pockets. Chances are, if you were a Singaporean, they will gravitate to that company before a startup like ours.
And so, Chinn had to widen his search for talents with the expertise he needed. He found Krittin by word of mouth after a year.
People like Krittin who comes from overseas, they're here because they already have the attitude that they are taking a risk to go to another country. So their mindset in terms of risk-taking is a little bit higher.
I want to invent something that can be sold, that are very appealing to customers and all. And that's when Chinn comes in and guide me in the right direction.
Krittin came in with first-class honors, and there were other candidates who are also pretty good up there. And he stood out for a couple of reasons. He's very competent, both in the hardware and software aspects of it. The second aspect is actually his personality. So that cuts across regardless if you're local or you're a foreigner. Everybody likes a nice guy.
What do you learn from me?
What did I learn from you? Nothing, bro.
Really? Are you serious? It hurts my feeling.
Krittin was a game changer for the firm. He developed a product that became the foundation for its AI robotics, the d.ASH Pack. It's a portable mapping tool that collects data which can then be used to create accurate 3D maps, which help autonomous robots like d.ASH-ER navigate the environment.
So let's say you want to deploy an autonomous robot anywhere, in the airport or in MRT station, cleaning robot, for instance. Those robots that work autonomously require a map of the environment. And typically how that's done is driving the robot around the environment. We foresee a few problems. Number one, it's quite tedious. Number two, it is quite slow.
So he came up with the idea based on a backpack concept, and where a human could easily move around the area and provide that data for the robot.
So we are able to cut down the deployment time from, let's say, 1 hour to just 10 minutes.
Another key part of Krittin's job involves training and mentoring young local engineers.
It was difficult for us to find experienced AI robotics engineer to hire on the onset. So we took the strategy of working with interns from reputable Institute of Higher Learning and convert them to full-time staff, because we have managers like Krittin who are very conscientious in imparting the skills.
Yang Kai and Zheng Hao are two local engineers whom Krittin has taken under his wing.
Have you designed something like this before? No. I think it's more...
Krittin actually interviewed me for my application here in dConstruct 2.5 years ago and mentored me ever since I was a part-time intern here, all the way until when I was a full-time.
Alright, come.
Krittin will provide like different case studies of existing products and how they go about to combat the certain difficulties that I would have faced during my design process. And that generally helped me to widen my knowledge on what's available in the industry and what I can possibly offer as part of my design.
And you can see it in robot very clearly. Everything looks relatively sharp, honestly.
I like that he's very down to earth. He's very approachable, and I think he's also extremely knowledgeable, and he's very good in his domain, but like he's still like constantly trying to push it. Just looking at that does inspire you sometimes.
Other than Krittin, a quarter of dConstruct staff are international hires.
We have Singaporean, we have people from
Turkey,
China, we have people from Malaysia and Thai, and so on. And
when we have a team that has that world experience, you have a diversity of ideas.
there are cultural boundaries we should be mindful of. And this is actually very important because the complexity are both in the algorithm, in the way we build things and see things. So I think that allows us to be a little bit more patient with each other.
And that trove of talent, both local and international, is what this little startup will need to conquer the world with its robot army.
We have taken a lot of projects. We are needing to go beyond Singapore. So consequently, we need to have all the right talents for this expansion.
To do that, the company will need to double its headcount by the end of the year.
Hi, sir.
That's where Compass comes in. No, not that kind of compass. The Complementarity Assessment Framework is a points-based system by the government to help companies select a high-quality foreign workforce, taking into account a candidate's qualifications, while improving the firm's workforce diversity and building a strong local core. Garen from Turkey was subject to this assessment when he was recently hired after a rigorous technical interview.
Of course, we make sure that we had hosted the host in the My Careers Future for local. There aren't many PhD AI robotics engineers out there at that level.
As a robotics engineer, Garen doesn't just work on navigation strategies for robots. He's also developing a curriculum to transfer his knowledge and skills to local students who hopefully will be the next generation of specialists the country needs.
So what we do is we make it more easy for students to grasp the idea of robotics and the theory as well.
We hope to be able to contribute our curriculum to these technical colleges and Institute of Higher Learning in order for them to fast-track these talents. We can't run an AI and robotics industry if we don't have enough talents to actually carry this industry. So the AMR has to have these use cases. Now the base.
I don't see it as a foreign versus local situation. We're going to look at the person for the person's capability and competency.
We want to make sure that that person can bring value to the country.
Just having access to all these experts in a very flat hierarchy, being able to go over there and pick their brains.
I think it's quite valuable to be able to grow yourself in the future.
Done. Krittin, show me your smash. Wow.
I'm quite entrepreneur. I'm just trying to learn as much as possible so that I can apply all this knowledge and these skills in the future to start my own company in Singapore. I spent almost half of my life here in Singapore. There's a lot of opportunity here, and I see that I'm able to develop something that can be useful and deploy in Singapore. And that's what I hope to do.